Today's question is, what is my relationship with nature, and how does it relate to my spirituality? Well, I love nature. I absolutely love nature. And I don't get enough of it these days. I think all the time about maybe switching to a job that would involve being outside a lot more, but then I wonder if maybe nature would start to lose its charm. Maybe I only love it so much because I don't really get all that much of it. You know, classic absence makes the heart grow fonder. I'm not sure. But I do love nature. I do love me some nature, and when I need a lot of wide open thinking space, being out among the trees and the grass and the rocks and the dirt and the water and everything, there is absolutely nothing better, I think, for an unresolved issue going on in your life. It's just going out in some good old nature. And I live really close to this nice nature preserve that I should visit pretty soon. I'll figure it out. I love being outside. What I love about it, I mean, I've talked previously about how any form of self-care, I think, ties into your spiritual practice. Like, I think it's almost inseparable, you know, regular self-care versus, like, spiritual self-care. I think it's similar, you know, to, like, I think taking a walk in nature is a great form of self-care that will also open the doors in your brain for some great spiritual insights. What I like about nature is that it doesn't demand anything from you. The tree can't talk to you and tell you that it wants you to be any different than the way that you are. Now, granted, there are things that people can offer you that nature cannot. But I just like that nature just is the way that it is. And it's not doing anything to try to change itself. Sometimes for the worse, you know, but it doesn't have any means of regretting or wishing that it was some other place. It just is the way that it is. And I wonder if I could be that sturdy in my place in this world as a big tree of several years. I mean, decades even, or centuries. I mean, geez, some trees are really, really, really old. I think it's called the Methuselah tree. Thousands of years old. What that tree has seen, I cannot even imagine. I heard some story about, like, the most isolated tree known to man throughout all of history is no longer here because somebody drove into it, apparently by accident, which I just think is hilarious. How bad of a driver do you have to be to hit the most isolated tree in the history of the world? It's beautiful and sad. I wish it was still here. Also, the oldest tree that's ever been recorded, the Prometheus tree, I think is what it's called, also is no longer with us because some guy chopped it down. Why does the world... I think that the world really is the greatest writer of tragedies. It has some of the most beautiful stories that you could ever conceive in the midst of it, too. But, like, oh, wow. The tragedies in there is like, you cannot come up with this stuff. You cannot write that down. I want to go on some kind of vision quest sometime. I want to do it safely, maybe not jump right into going up to living in the mountains in the cave, you know, right? But, yeah, just like a good camping trip where I don't give myself a whole lot of resources, other than, like, basic food and survival stuff. I find that a lot of vacations give me amazing insights, and I just wonder what that would be like if I also didn't have any stimulus or other people around me. I want so badly. I almost did last year when I had COVID. I almost took a little COVID trip. I did later on, but it was only, like, confined to one day. I want to take just, like, a week-long Yellowstone trip. I've been to Yellowstone once. It was back in 2012, and it absolutely changed me in a way that I can't even put into words. Like, I literally cannot. Not even privately, not even in a journal. Like, I have always wanted to go back to Yellowstone. And I think I just might have to finally do it this year. This feels like a pivotal year in a lot of ways. Even though nothing has really changed yet. For some reason, this year just feels so important. And I think my reconnecting with Yellowstone, the true love of my life in terms of nature, at least that I've seen so far, I think that would really solidify this as one of those very important years. But even when I can't go out into even when I can't cross the country to go to Yellowstone or even go out to the nature preserve, I sometimes forget that just a nice little patch of grass and dirt, especially with your bare feet, can do a lot to change your energy in a pretty short period of time. It's really lovely. It's really lovely. And sometimes a hardwood man-made floor just will not do it for me. I can't even describe it. There was one time I really just got frustrated that my feet could not be on solid ground. Or natural ground. Maybe I'll do that before bed tonight.